Yo, what's up, good people? Welcome to the show, Mind, Body, and Hustle. Like we always say on the show, a smart person learns from their own mistakes, and a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. So here on Mind, Body, and Hustle, we promised you guys last week that this week we'll have a special guest for you guys, and we have a very special guest for you guys. Without any further ado, here is my guest, King Avi. How are you?
Good, brother, and you?
Complete. Okay, cool. So, King Avi, let's not waste time. Let's get into this.
Yeah.
Please introduce yourself. Tell us about you. Tell us about where you grew up and where you from.
Okay, my name is Dogbo Abraham Eve Allen. I'm originally from Cote d'Ivoire, which is Ivory Coast in English. It is a West African country next to Ghana. So many people like to confuse Ivory Coast with Nigeria because we all look the same.
Okay.
But I'm not a Nigerian. I'm French speaking, Nigerian and English speaking people. So I'm from Cote d'Ivoire. And concerning my childhood, I was born in Ivory Coast. I grew up there, and I had a very nice childhood in Ivory Coast. And I will say that I grew up between two families. And before I even reached the age of understanding, my parents were already separated. So I grew up between my father's family and my mother's family. And those two families were not the same.
Okay.
Because my mother's side, they were financially stable, and on my father's side, they were a bit poor.
They were struggling.
Yeah, they were struggling. So I used to go to school, do my academic by my father. And when it's the holidays, I would go to my mother. And my father was not always there. He was always out of the country for work. So it is actually my grandparents who raised me. So yeah, my childhood was not bad. I actually tasted a bit of both poverty and stability. Yeah, because on my mother's side, my grandmother was a businesswoman, and my grandfather on my mother's side was a Formula One driver. So they
Formula One, like as in Grand Prix
in France.
What?
So they were financially okay. But on my father's side, my grandfather was a World War II veteran. And we were all staying in the grandfather house. We were more than 20 people staying there. I'm not even counting the grandchildren. And they were staying in the car seat, like we say here. My mother was staying in the suburb. So imagine, during school, I would be in the car seat. On holiday, I would go to the suburb. So I tested a bit of both kind of life.
And you come from far. So when you came to South Africa, what made you come here
to South Africa? The main reason was for me to come and further my studies. Because I have an uncle who went to America, but is now living in France. He's actually the one who came with the idea that I should go to South Africa to study, because South Africa has good universities. So the main reason was for me to come and further my study after my matric.
Okay.
That's the reason why I came to South Africa. But along the way, the plan didn't go according to what we have planned because of financial issues. So I was now met with two possibilities. It was either I go back home or I stay and hustle. And going back home, I was gonna go and stay with my mother, not working, staying in the house. So I decided, let me just stay. I will hustle and further my study myself.
Okay, and then via your siblings, brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I do have siblings. I do have two sisters, one from my mother's side and one from my father's side.
So they both started their very new families.
You know the story.
Yeah. And did that the whole thing of your parents being separated and you having to travel from one side to one side, did that affect you in any way?
That really affected me, because to grow in a separate family is not really nice, you see. And the problem with me is that my father was not always there. He was always out of the country for work. So it's actually my grandparents who raised me up. And grandparents, they are very soft when it comes to education.
Yeah.
So I remember that when I'm by my mother's side, they would be monitoring me, making me do homework, studying. But when I go to my grandparents, there is nobody to monitor me. So I was just free. And this is where I was doing my academic. So imagine being in a house where there's nobody to make you do homework and stuff like this.
Nobody's following
me. I was even given to, they call it truancy. You do as if you're going to school, but you are not.
Yeah.
You are just playing around when I was by my grandfather, because there was nobody to follow me around. So to grow up in a separate family, a family where the father and the mother are not together, of course, the child is going to be affected.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And sorry to take you back. I just want to know, how much does it cost to come from Ivory Coast to USA? And do you drive? Do you go with the flight, a bus?
Okay.
What?
To come to South Africa, you have to fly. There's no way you can use the road, because Ivory Coast is in West Africa and South Africa is in the south. So you have to fly. And the flight ticket costs around 18 to 19,000. Yeah, to go and come back. So it is not cheap.
Oh, that's
is really
salary.
expensive.
That's
Yeah.
somebody's salary.
Can you imagine?
Top 10%.
Yeah,
South African
and the
earnings.
flight is about 10 hours, depending on the air company you use. If you use South Africa Airways, I think it's 8 hours. But when you use like Kenya Airways and Ethiopia, it's 10 hours. Because they will actually stop in Kenya and from Kenya come to South Africa. But South Africa Airways will just go straight to Ghana, and Ghana is our neighboring country.
So then you take
Yeah.
transport.
No, they just, when they land in Ghana, they just wait for 1 hour, then they fly back to Ivory Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, only for 1 hour. So 8 hours, 7 hours from South Africa to Ghana, 1 hour from Ghana to Ivory Coast. So 8 hours.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And I live in Africa. That's the craziest part.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. Then okay, King Amy, then what do you do to get your daily bread? Like right now, what's your hustle?
Okay, what I'm currently doing, I'm into warehousing and logistics because I also studied warehousing. I have a certificate in warehousing. So the company where I work is a company that manufactures sport equipment.
Okay.
So what I'm doing there, I'm both working in the warehouse and doing their deliveries. So we are manufacturing the product. After manufacturing them, it has to go to packaging section. For packaging, I go to deliver it to their private customers and the retail stores. So
Yeah.
this is what I do for a living right now.
So you're basically doing the whole thing.
You can imagine the whole process. I even do package sometimes
Hey,
and then go to deliver.
yo, you might as well open up your own. Like,
Can you imagine? Open my own company. Aish.
it's
It's true.
something else.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
But thank you so much for coming through, King Amy.
Yeah, you're welcome, bro.
I'm gonna have you on the show, and I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you about your mind, your body, and your hustle, because I feel like you've got information. You know, even me when I go through problems, I call you up. Hey, King Amy, you know, I'm depressed. I wanna kill myself.
I
Like,
remember,
don't you
bro.
ever?
Yeah.
So okay, cool. We're gonna get to all those questions, and especially for our fans and our viewers, you know, I feel like you guys will be very, very enlightened with this conversation, because this man right here, I also ask him questions. You know, I don't know everything, but again, like we always say, a smart person learns from their own mistakes, and a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. Mind, body, and hustle. Let's go. Okay, so the first set of questions we're gonna have for King Aby is about the mind. You know, I feel like for me, King Aby, I don't know about anybody else. I feel like you cannot be physically healthy if you're not mentally healthy.
That's true.
And depending on how you deal with your mental, it's gonna affect your hustle. It's gonna affect your health. It's gonna affect your. It's gonna affect a lot of things.
It's true.
So I have a set of questions that I feel like it could benefit the viewers at home. So let's get into it, King Aby. What is your biggest regret in life? Like the one thing that you're like, man, if I can go back in time, I'll change that, you know? So what's that? If you can tell us about it.
My biggest regret is something that I haven't been talking about to many people, but because of the show, I will just share it. I remember that when I came to South Africa in 2011, I was not fluent in English, so I had to join a language school in order for me to learn how to speak English. So when I went to that particular language school, it is where I actually met my first girlfriend.
Oh, yeah?
She's from Congo Brazzaville. Very good woman, lot of qualities and attributes. She's a white material. So we fell in love with each other and we started dating. And during the process of time, we decided that we move together. So we were staying together. We were both students. She came also to further study. By that time also, I also came to further my study. So we were both depending on our parents to send us money every month. So we moved in together, and obviously we were dating.
Yeah.
She found herself pregnant. As time went on, she was pregnant. But now the problem was that we were both students, and she was so afraid to tell her parent. What will the parents say? How are they going to react? What is she supposed to do? And me too also, I was not working. I was also depending on my parents to receive money. So I was also afraid. Didn't know what is going to happen. So she proposed to me, what about if we abort the child? I thought about it, but I was so afraid that I agreed. I said, no, let's do it. And out of our ignorance, out of fear, we did an abortion. And we continued with our relationship until she finished her study. She managed to complete a degree in accounting. Now she had to go back home to work, and she left. So when she left, we're now in a long distance relationship. And I remember there's that time she called me, and she told me there's something funny that happened to me today. I said, okay, what happened? She said I was walking in the street, and there's a woman who stopped me and asked me a question. I said, what did the woman ask? She said the woman asked me, who is this little cute girl who follows you wherever you go.
Oh.
And she told the woman, what are you talking about?
'Cause
I'm walking alone on the street. She said, no, there's a very cute little girl, dark in complexion, who is following you, and she's waiting for another opportunity to come into the world. When she told me that, I was shocked. I didn't need any interpretation. I already knew it was the abortion, the child that we aborted. And she was even said that day, she was crying. My whole day was fucked up. It was messed up. I regretted. Why did we do that? Why? I even asked to God for forgiveness, for God to comfort me, because I was emotionally broken when she told me that. So this was one of my biggest regrets in life, to have done abortion out of ignorance and fear. This is something that I regret even until today.
Because to be honest, I won't lie to you, man. Yes, like I also have a child. I would be disappointed when my daughter would say like, Dad, I'm pregnant, you know?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't write her off. So I understand what you're saying with the ignorance and fear, because you guys were so scared that my parents will say, oh, we send you to school and you're going to make babies.
So fear is a dangerous thing. Fear is a dangerous thing. Fear is going to can push you to take decisions that you're going to regret in the future. And this is what happened. It was just because of fear.
And that's true.
Yeah.
Scared people do a lot of things that are messed up.
It's true.
That's crazy.
It's true.
So then, what kind of a lifestyle do you live? Like on a day to day, like how does Abraham live?
Okay, concerning my lifestyle, I live a very, very moderate lifestyle, because I believe that moderation is the key for a balanced lifestyle. I try not to overindulge in anything, because overindulgence can lead to addiction. And you know that when you are addicted, you become the slave of your own desires, your own fleshly desires.
What do they call it? The king's disease.
You can
when
imagine.
you eat too much.
Gluttony. You lose control over yourself. Can you imagine? You become a slave of your own flesh. So I'm very moderate in anything that I do. I try to control and regulate whatever I do. Concerning food, my movement, whatever I do, I try to regulate, so that I don't overindulge in anything. So my lifestyle is a very, very moderate lifestyle. I do not party a lot. I can go to brides maybe once in a while. I don't do too much of something. Like we say, too much of something is not good.
That's true.
Yeah, so I live a very, very moderate lifestyle.
So basically you go to work, sometimes go to brides. Sunday to go to church.
Sunday, obviously. Every Sunday I go to church. That's the only thing I overindulge in.
So that leads me to my next question.
Okay.
What are your spiritual beliefs? You know, like the one thing that me and you have in common is that we're African.
Yeah.
So being African, you've got the Bible, which a lot of people say, no, brought to us by our colonizer. White people were just trying to take. There was this other saying, and I forgot the doctor or whoever it is. He was like, the white people told the black people to close their eyes and pray, and they handed them a Bible and then took the land.
All the land.
Right? But again, now we've still got the African thing of like Tokoloshi, your grandmother's bewitching you. So what are your spiritual beliefs? You know?
Okay, my spiritual belief. I am a Christian. I am a believer.
100%.
100% believer.
So no ancestors.
And why no ancestors? Not because I chose not to believe in my ancestors or to be involved in African spirituality. You see, in Africa we've been colonized, and depending on which part of Africa you are from, it will depend how you relate to your own culture. You see, us in West Africa, not even West Africa, if you notice, all the French-speaking countries, they've forsaken their own culture because of the colonizers. When you come to South Africa, you see that people speak their own language like you. You can speak your mother tongue. But when you go where I'm coming from, it is common to see somebody who doesn't know his mother tongue.
So you guys only speak French?
We speak French. There are some people who do speak the mother tongue, but most of the time you will see that they are not from the city. They are from deep in the village. But if you were born and raised in the city, it is very, very scarce for somebody to speak his own language. So if you don't speak your language, what about your culture? You see your own identity. So me, for example, I can't speak my mother tongue. My mother never taught me my mother tongue. My mother herself doesn't speak her own mother tongue. My father is the same. So most of the French-speaking countries, you go to Gabon, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, most of the French-speaking, this is the reality. They are not connected to the African cultures. So I was born and raised in a Christian family, so I am a Christian. But when I reached the age of understanding, I had to choose for myself So I analyzed Christianity, I read the Bible for myself, made my own research, and I decided, yeah, I will believe in this. This is right for me because of the message of Christianity. It is true that many people will tell you this is coming from the colonizers, but nobody knows the real truth. Because when you study your own Bible, according to the colonizer, there is no black person in the Bible. All the characters are white. But when you study the Bible yourself, you will ask yourself so many questions. There is a hidden truth in it that people do not know. So you have to make your own research. The Bible is not only about white people. Even the Lord Jesus Christ himself, the description that the Bible gives about the Lord Jesus Christ is not a white person.
Yeah,
but because of the colonization and the picture that we saw in the church, we believe that is a white person. So I did my own research. I studied the Bible and I decided that this is something that is good for me. So I am a Christian and a believer of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you know what, man? I would lie. I was also raised as a Christian.
Yeah.
But on my dad's side,
yeah,
they practice African spirituality.
Okay.
And when I say African spirituality, I'm not saying witchcraft, voodoo. You know the things that they show us in movies. No. It's a different thing. Like I actually got to understand it in a different way because when I went to church, they would say, okay, dear Lord, speak, and then they say, when I went to the Roman Catholic Church, at the end they would say, ask Mother Mary and all of those things. So in our culture, we ask our ancestors to talk to God for us. We don't ask via like Mary or Jesus. But at the same time, it's like I feel these things are all connected because there's a saying in my language, Mudima says, and Africa looks all. So meaning like God is not stupid and he doesn't give you in your hand. He will give you, but he won't just put it in your hand.
It's true.
So I believe that, and I'm not really like practicing like every Sunday like you. Okay. But one thing I do read the Bible because I deeply believe that the only way to preserve a lesson through time is through a story. Because languages change, but the moral of that story, it's what needs to be heard. Even like Pinocchio is really about think about it. It's a wooden boy. He wants to be a real boy. And how many men walk around the world trying to be real men, trying to prove I'm a man, and just like in the story Pinocchio, gets him into a lot of trouble. He gets swallowed by a whale and all of those things.
It's true.
Okay, that's really deep. So, tell me about the most hardest time in your life. I know the abortion story, but do you have another story where you had a super really hard time, and how did you deal with it? Like if you were in a very dark place, how did you get out of it?
So I would say that most of the hardest time that I experimented was here in South Africa, because back home, you're living with the family, you don't pay rent, you don't buy food, they do everything, you just go wander and come back. So when I traveled to come to South Africa, that was actually the first time I left my country and I was separated from my mother. So at the beginning, I had no friend. I was staying in Sandton and I was staying in a complex where you don't even see people passing, and where I'm coming from is different. I told you I grew up from the Kasi and the suburb. In the Kasi where I grew up, we're not even locking the doors. The doors are open. People will come in and out. Everybody know you in the Kasi. But when I came to South Africa, it was a different story. I know nobody. I couldn't speak English, so I was alone, and I had to wait for my parents to send me money every month to do my groceries, pay the rent, and eventually sometimes the money even finished before the end of the month. So all these things caused me to be depressed. I went through a dramatic depression, bro, a deep depression. I even thought about committing suicide. I became suicidal because I told myself, what is the purpose of even living? What is all this thing?
And you are alone. I mean, nobody can speak your language. No matter what you said, it was like, hey, what's those guys?
Imagine, I will go even to the shop. There is a funny story. I will go to the shop looking for eggs, but I don't even know how to say eggs in English. So I'll try to put the word. I'll tell the lady, chicken. What come out of chicken? Can you imagine, man, the struggle? Chicken. What come out? You will see a mouse passing, you will say jelly. The cat is tongue. Can you imagine, my brother? So it was tough, bro. So I became really depressed, and I believe that even caused my blood pressure to go high. I even started to get redness of eye since then because of the depression. It was so high. I was negative about everything. I even told myself, even if I study, what is going to happen after my study in such a country, stuff like this. So these were the really, really tough time for me. But as I said, I'm a believer. I was praying to God each and every day about the thing that I wanted to see in my life. And you know, God answers in many ways, you see. And also the thing that helped me a lot, it was reading. I started to read books about the mind and look at motivational videos. So this is what helped me and give me the courage to get out of that dark place.
So instead of staying in that dark place, you decided, I'm going to look for knowledge so I can empower myself.
Thank you. You know, knowledge is going to liberate you from so many things, especially depression, I'm telling you. Because you are depressed because you don't know. You have your own understanding of what is happening to you, when in reality it's not all that there is. So by the time you acquire knowledge, you come to realize, and also God will start to talk to you through what you are reading, and you're gonna get out of that dark place.
Because the map is not the territory.
You see?
I think there was a book, I forgot the book's name. That guy said that. I don't understand him, but now I understand what you're saying, because the map is not really like, let's say for example, Côte d'Ivoire on the map, you know? It shows you where the person saw it and how the roads were. But you know what? Construction happens every day.
It's true.
You know, rivers dry up. So maybe let's say the same map from like 40, 50 years ago, we're looking at it now, that river is dried up and it's like, this map is wrong. But that's just how that person looked at life.
It's true.
So perspectives are very limiting, and you got a point with that one. I hope you guys caught that, because that was deep. So okay, King Avi, I want to ask you this question, right? What advice would you give yourself if you had to, like right now, if let's say we built a time machine, like King Avi, go back in time, change something, tell yourself something that will change everything. What would that be?
What I would tell myself if I could go back to the past, because right now there are so many things that I know I wish I knew back then. You see, I will tell my younger self maybe 3 things, because there are so many things that I will tell my younger self. Number 1 is the power of influence. I will tell myself about the 3 kinds of influence that affect every man. The number 1 is input, what you feed your brain. The number 2 is association, the people you spend time with the most. They call them your reference group. And your reference group determine up to 90% of your success and failures in life. So I will teach myself about the power of association. And number 3, environment. Where do you always find yourself? For a seed to grow into a tree, the seed has to be planted in the right environment. If it is not, it will not grow. So those 3 are the 3 influence that affect every man. And the other thing that I will tell myself is about the power of decision and the power of choices. Because one of the greatest gifts God has given us is the freedom of the will. We can make choice independently of any outside influence. But the problem is that your choices have the ability to build you or destroy you, because you shape your destiny according to the decision that you make in the present. You see, the future is what you make of it. So I will teach myself about making good choices, because every of your outcome in life, they are based on the choice that you took in the past. Look at, for example, in this world, we all come the same. We come naked, ignorant and scared. But the life we end up with is simply an accumulation of all the choices and decisions that we make. So your life is shaped by your daily decision. The choice that you make on a daily basis shape your future. Let's say, for example, right now, if we say that in the next hour we will go on the street and distribute maybe cold drink to people, this is in the future. The future is a mystery, but by the choice that you take in the present now, you can give shape to your future. We can go and buy the cold drink, and at that particular hour that we said we go on the street, we are creating the future. So man is a creator of his reality based on the choice that he makes. So this is something that I was going to teach my younger self. Be very careful about the choice and the decision that you make in your life. And another thing is, there's something that they call the compound effect. Is a principle. So they say the principle of reaping huge rewards through series of small and smart choices. So the formula is that small and smart choices plus consistency plus time equal radical change. So you can get anything you want in your life if you follow the compound effect. And it can work for you or work either against you.
That's like investing, right? Compound interest.
Thank you, like in the bank. And in reality, you see, the same way money grows in the bank through compound interest, this is the same way the effect of our habits also multiply as we repeat them. and habit come through choices, the choices that you make. So yeah, you can get in life whatever you want if you know how to use this principle. If you do not know how to use it by default, it can destroy you. You see,
that's true.
So this is what I would tell my younger self if I had the ability to do so.
That's too deep, King. You'd be the president now. Yeah, good. I can tell it.
Can you imagine?
So okay, cool, King.
Yeah.
So right now, right, with the advice that you've given, right, let me ask you this question, and don't take it personally.
Yeah.
What do you feel is standing in your way from becoming the best version of yourself? You know that King A, the one like at ultimate level, like this is, you know, like Dragon Ball Z, like Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct, So what do you feel like is standing in your way for you to actually be that guy? Because you're still alive, you can still be that guy.
I can say that the limitation, like they say, a man can never rise above the limitation that is set in his own mind. So the thing that is stopping me to become the best version of myself, first of all, is fear. The fear of the unknown, the fear of taking risk and getting out of my comfort zone and remaining in wishful thinking. You are wishing that you want to become this, but you don't want to take the necessary action that are needed to become that thing. Maybe I'm not willing to make the sacrifice, to do whatever it takes for me to get where I'm supposed to be, to become the ideal person. And this is the reality for almost everyone.
It's difficult.
We want to be rich, we want to live a life of opulence, but are you willing to do the sacrifices that are required to get there? That's the problem. And
that's crazy, King. Because what's crazy is like your name in the Bible.
Yeah.
Abraham.
Imagine.
Abraham, there's that story where God came to him and told him, yo, go and sacrifice your son.
Yeah.
You know, even if we didn't use Abraham, even Noah, think about it, it's literally not raining, and God is like, build a very big boat.
Imagine.
You know, and at that time, King Amy, like you're in Joburg, and everybody's like, this
think you are crazy. It's true.
There's no boats. It's
true.
But he literally sacrificed so much of his time and energy to actually build that thing. But at the end, when it started raining, everything made sense.
Yeah, it's true.
I get what you're saying.
And the other thing is that, according to my belief, you see, in Christianity, there's a term that people like to use. They call born again, and many people don't even know what is the meaning of to be born again. And to be born again is actually a transformation that happened in a person that is evidenced by his lifestyle. So I remember that was last week, because I'm a believer. I make sure I talk to God on a daily basis. I was lying on my bed and I was listening to a video on YouTube of a man who was talking about how to hear God. And instead of listening to that video, the Spirit of God started to talk to me. Because I can hear God on my own way. I can hear my own voice in my mind. And when whatever my own voice says is making sense, I know that it's God who is talking to me. And God was telling me, I designed you for great things. You are supposed to become a person that has designed even before time, that is going to impact this generation. But if you don't see all these things manifested in your life, it's because you don't allow my word to transform you. You see, I was saying that if a seed is not planted in the right environment, it cannot grow into a tree. And for example, the word of God in the Bible represents a seed. Our heart is the soil. So if I do not allow the word of God to be planted in my heart, I will not see what the word of God is talking about. And this applies with everything, even what you study, even the books that you read. If you do not apply whatever you are reading, you will not gonna see any consistent growth or any change in your life. So I believe that one of the things that is keeping me from becoming the best version of myself is because I'm not practicalizing what I know. You see, knowledge is useless without execution.
Yeah, that's true.
You see?
That's so true.
So that's one of the things that is blocking me. And like they say also, motivation without action can lead to self-delusion. You can be motivated no matter how motivated you are, but you are not taking any action. You won't move, won't go anywhere.
So can you break down this fear? Like when you say fear, what do you mean? Fear, okay, I get the fear of the unknown. Like, okay, I quit my job, I don't know what's going to happen, what am I going to eat?
Yeah.
I get that, but I'm sure it's much more than just food, because man cannot live on bread alone. What else are you afraid of?
And when I say fear, normally some people say that fear means false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, I'm doing something that I don't like. I know that I can do more than that. But the fear of leaving that position and go and look for what I want is an obstacle. That is why Will Smith said everything you need is on the outside of here, on the other side of here. The fear of trying to go and get what I want, thinking that you will lose this one permanently. What if I go and it doesn't work? This is an obstacle, and it's almost all of us. We don't want to leave our comfort zone. What if I go and it doesn't work? I will lose both. And you know, fear is the opposite of faith. Both of them require you to believe in something that you do not see in order for them to work. And fear is destructive, but faith gives you impossible thing. And the thing is that when you have faith, it doesn't make your situation easy, but it makes your situation possible. But fear, it just stops you, it cripples you.
Yeah,
fear cripples your ability to exercise your faith. You see, look at, for example, there's a story in the Bible that I like. It's a story that everybody knows. When Peter walked on water, you see, the Lord Jesus was standing on water and he beat Peter to come. Peter managed to get out of the boat, take few steps. But when he conceived that whatever was around him, the boisterous wind, the wave, fear took grip of his heart and he began to drown just because of fear. And when the Lord Jesus came, he said, "Why did you doubt, oh you of little faith?" So fear is something that can be an obstacle from you to becoming whatever you want to become. So when I'm talking about fear, it's actually this. The fear is actually the fear of the unknown, the fear of taking risk, the fear of leaving your comfort zone, moving from that realm of wishful thinking. You are wishing that you want to drive a BMW, but you are not willing to put money aside. You want that money to go and party every Saturday.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you imagine?
Remember that book I sent to King Avi?
Outwitting the Devil.
You know, it really, that book touched me, right?
Yeah.
That guy was explaining how does the devil control us.
Yeah.
So he said fear of poverty.
True.
Fear of criticism.
Fear of old age.
Fear of old age. Fear of loss.
Yeah.
That's like how he controls us. Because
Thank you.
King Avi, when I was doing the first video of this podcast,
Yeah.
right, I was like, yo, what if people think I'm whack? What if nobody
it doesn't
likes
work?
it? What if, you know, and then at the same time, that because I read that book, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get old, nobody's gonna care about me, my kids won't even visit me. So this doesn't even matter. But if I can actually help somebody out and actually achieve that, you know, that's one thing that was right there. Because to be honest, King Avi, fear, like you said, it really cripples us.
Yeah.
You know, so many people, like I also grew up in like Kasi, like 100% deep, like,
okay.
Like, so the one thing that I've noticed is that fear can also make you hurt people without planning on hurting them.
Wow.
You understand what I mean? Alright, now for the final part of actually the interview, we're gonna combine the two. It's about the body. You know, you can see King Avi's fit. He's fit. No belly, no stomach. He's good. And we're also going to talk about his hustle. We're going to get a little bit more into that as well. So, King Avi, how do you take care of yourself? Like, what do you eat? Do you exercise? What's up?
Concerning the body, I do. Actually, like I said, I'm very moderate about everything I do. So I try to control whatever I eat. Because there's that time I used to consume a lot of sugar. I was not controlling my sugar intake, and I noticed that it started also to affect my body. I will feel heaviness in the head when I'm bathing. So this started to make me become aware of the thing that I have to do and the thing that I don't have. So concerning a diet, I watch my diet. I make sure that I eat a lot of fish. I don't eat a lot of red meat. Mostly is white meat. And exercising, very important. Even the Bible talks about that. It says exercising exercising profited a little. So there's a profit in exercising, but it's not big according to the Bible.
Okay.
So I do exercise. I used to go to the gym before, but because of work now, the time, so I make sure that I maintain at home with push-ups, abs, stuff like that. So I do exercise and I watch what I eat.
So I'm guessing because you live a very moderate lifestyle, it doesn't really affect your finances like that.
Nah, it doesn't really. It even allow me to save a lot. Because everything I do is on a budget.
Oh, okay, cool. So your budget really affects your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were like a person that partied every weekend.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. I mean,
it was even going to affect my work.
Yeah. And very much so,
yeah.
I mean, every Monday you'd have a hangover.
Can you imagine? Babalas, like they say.
Yeah. And now you'd have to buy like what's Gopo.
Can you imagine they say Babalas pills?
You're
surprised.
And still, after that, you'd have to drink one more just to get rid of that.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, no,
So
no,
it
I
continues.
completely understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear. Okay, so let's talk about your hustle, King A, because I can see that you take care of your body and
Yeah.
you take care of your mind. So those things are very, very much tied together. So in terms of your hustle, right? What have you learned about money itself, like money? Because as much as we can say whatever, we live in a capitalist society.
Yeah.
Money is very important.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we survive. That's how we get our bread.
Yeah.
You know, so what have you learned about money, and how has it changed the way you use it?
Okay. What I've learned about money that have changed the way I use it. Before, I used to think that it was all about acquiring money, accumulating money. But I came to understand that it is more important to learn how to manage money than to acquire it.
Okay.
Because if you do not know how to manage money, no matter how much you can earn, you will never make any consistent progress in your life, in your financial life, so to say. We've saw story of people who won the lottery,
Yeah,
and in the same year, thank you, there's that show they call Our Blue It. In the same year, the person will spend all the money and come back to the same position. I was reading a book where there is a Babylonian book. They actually call it The Richest Man in Babylon. There's an adage there. I will say it in two parts. The first part says that he said, fickle fate is a vicious goddess who brings no permanent good to anyone. But on the contrary, she brings ruin to everybody upon whom she showers unearned gold. That's the first part. The second part says she makes wanton spenders who very soon dissipate whatever they receive, and they are left beset with overwhelming desires and appetite they have no ability to gratify. So to know how to manage money is very important, because if you do not, you will be a victim of that goddess that they call fickle fate. They say she will leave you with overwhelming appetite that you have no ability to satisfy. Because by the time you got that amount of money, your lifestyle changed. You didn't know how to manage the money is gone. What about the lifestyle?
Yeah, that's true.
You see,
That's true.
so to know how to manage money is very important. It is actually what can make you transition from just earning money to become a millionaire. But if you do not know how to manage, it is a problem. And in reality, management is everything.
Yeah,
Look, even the body. God has given you the body, but God is not going to take you to the gym. You must manage your own body, not to be obese or stuff like this. Look at even in life, you can take maybe a car on credit. You must know how to manage, how to pay your credit. If you fail, they come and repossess the car.
Let's say
So
service,
you see,
petrol.
thank you. So I was even telling a friend of mine who used to say, when God give, God take back. I said, no, most of the time it's not true. God can give, but if you fail to manage, you will lose it. So men always lose whatever he fails to manage. You see.
You know, I was so deep about what you're saying. I think I was doing my second year in varsity.
Okay.
So the lecturer comes there and he's like the wise king said to his son,
Okay.
this is yours.
Yeah.
But you have to fight for what is yours.
Can you imagine?
So the kid didn't understand it, but then when the lecturer broke it down, he's like, no, this life is yours. You can achieve anything that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
But once you achieve it, you need to fight and maintain and manage
That's
it and
true.
ensure that you still got it. So
Yeah.
I second what you're saying, King.
That's true.
So, you actually answered my next question. What
Okay.
financial advice would you say?
Financial advice, now I can still answer it.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a book that I'm currently reading, and I recommend that book to anybody who wants to know about finances, because there are some laws that govern the building of wealth, the accumulation of wealth, and money is all about knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's the difference between the poor and the rich, is the knowledge. Because you don't know you are poor, and you know that poverty is a state of mind. It's not actually lack of money, it is lack of productivity. Because you don't know, you are not productive. So there's that book that I'm reading that is called The Richest Man in Babylon. It was written by, his name is George Samuel Clason.
Yeah.
You can download a free copy everywhere on Google and stuff.
Is that the book where that guy was like, save 10% of whatever?
Thank you. You even know the book.
Yeah, I think I read it, but I don't think I read the whole book.
I just started to read the book, and I saw some financial advices there. Because in that book, the richest man of Babylon at that time was somebody called Arcade. And during the process of time, the king of Babylon summoned him and asked him if he could church all the Babylonians, the rules that govern the accumulation of wealth. So they designed a classroom where he went to teach people. And he took 7 classes to reveal to them 7 principles. And we talk only about 3 of them. So those 7 principles, he called them the seven cures to a lean purse. And the first principle, he called it fatten thy purse, increase your purse. And in that principle is where he said, like you say, 1/10. He said that a part of all that you earn is yours to keep, and it shouldn't be less than 1/10, no matter how little you earn. So in other words, when you are earning money, maybe it's a salary or you're doing business, you earn a profit, 10% of that money need to go to a saving account. And he gave the reason why. He said wealth, like a tree, grows from a tiny seed. You see the seed from which the tree grows. So wealth, like a tree, grows from a tiny seed. And the first coin you save represents the seed from which your tree of wealth will grow. So it is very important that you save. If you are working and you don't save any money, life will be like a routine. You won't make any progress in your financial life.
That's true.
So learn how to fatten your purse by saving money. 10% of your money should go to a saving account. You see, so this is the first advice. The second one is say control thy expenditure. You see, you have to learn how to live upon less than what you earn. And this one is the difficult one because people don't want.
Yeah.
People like to live above what they are earning. You see.
Obviously speaking, you know what? Most people, like, you go from earning, let's say for example, 5,000. Now you're earning 10,000. You even move out of your place. You find a new place, a bigger
mistake.
place.
So this is the thing. You have to control your expenditures. Everything you do has to be on a budget. It's going to enable you to track the way you spend money. And even before I read that, there was a principle that I was following myself that they call the 50-30-20 principle, where they say 50% of your salary should go to your expenditures, the thing that you need, like your rent, groceries. 50% of your salary go to address that, and then 30% goes to your wants. You need to go party with your friend, you want to buy a new phone, and then 20% goes to your saving account. This is 50-30-20. It's a budget plan that is very good, and if you can follow that only over a period of 6 months, you will see consistent growth in your account, even your lifestyle. Now, some people will tell you that 50% cannot cover all my needs. There's another principle that is called 70-20-10. At the end, when you put all together, is 100. So 70% of your salary go to address your needs, the things that you cannot do without. Then 20% address your wants. You want a new sneaker, a phone, and 10% go to your saving account. So you will see that in all those financial advices, you have to save at least 10% of what you earn.
Yeah.
You see. And now the third one, this is where I will stop. The third one is saying make thy goal to multiply. So it is good that you are saving money, but now that the money is in the account and maybe it has grown, what do you do with it? You have to invest your money. So you invest your money in order for it to reproduce of its kind. It's like a seed. You cannot have a seed and you don't plant it. As soon as you plant the seed and water it, it grows into a tree and then it produces fruit. So you have to use your saving and find where you can invest. You have to make a lot of research. How can I invest that money in order for me to bring me profit upon my investment? So these are the 3 advices that I want to give.
That's golden advice. Okay, then, so let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Like, just to second this, because we're so used to, especially in South Africa,
Yeah.
you know, people get ripped off every single. I think I told you the story where I got scammed.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember.
so what financial myths, like, you know, like a myth, like a belief that people have, that you want to break today? Like,
there are so many myths, man. So many of them.
okay.
Number 1, those get rich quick scheme. Is it how they call it?
Yeah, get rich quick.
You just become a millionaire overnight.
Tomorrow.
This one is a big lie. Can you imagine?
We're talking about it now.
Patron Pay, cryptocurrency came out of nowhere. So this is a myth. You can never become a billionaire overnight. Yeah. We talk about people who won the lottery and then how they ended up because of lack of knowledge. Wealth goes along with principle and laws. If you are not willing to learn the laws that govern wealth, you will not get there. You need to acquire knowledge to know how to accumulate money. So you will never become a millionaire overnight. Even if you do, you will see that in most cases, you will come back to the same position and you will be worse than before.
And you know what's crazy about what you're saying, especially about knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not part of Stats SA and I don't do statistics.
Okay.
But I can promise you this. 90% of the people that are blacklisted, it was because of clothing accounts.
Can you imagine? And
food accounts.
Yeah.
No, they were just buying food and clothes.
Yeah.
And most of these people, they don't even have the things that they're still paying off for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was this guy I met, man. This guy is divorced.
Okay.
but he's still paying off the loan he took
Yo.
for the wedding.
Yo, doesn't make sense.
You know, he spent like, I
Doesn't make
think
sense.
he took a loan of 300,000 for his
Yo,
wedding, and
imagine.
he only had like 150. Then the 300,000 was literally for the catering, the dresses,
Okay.
the food,
Yo.
the alcohol, and he spent that. And now he's divorced,
And
but
he's
he's
still
still
paying
paying
back the
for it.
loan.
Yeah, he
Ah.
has to pay for it. You
You
know.
see? Imagine.
So that's the craziest part. And on top of paying for it, he still needs to pay maintenance for his
For the
kids.
child.
Yeah, it's yeah. But not to laugh at his pain, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
but it's the reality.
I get what you're saying. You know,
It is the reality.
He actually should have paid the dowry, the lobola, and spoke to his wife and sat down and said, "Listen, babe, I'm not gonna take a loan just to make a
Why
wedding,
don't you just get married?"
you know,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it's like the money that we're spending is really just for food
It's
and
true.
you know, people to just drink and go piss it out.
Yeah,
to us,
it's true.
That's actually crazy. So.
Yeah.
Do you have any side hustle ideas or any side hustles that you're doing that you
Yeah.
can just drop down some knowledge for us?
Yeah, the side hustle that I used to do and I can recommend anyone is the buying of salvage car. You see, most of my brothers, most of the West African is what they do in South Africa. And you see the good thing, I was talking about the power of association. It's good to mingle yourself with people to know about what they do and take what you can get from there. You see what most of the West Africans do these days? They buy accidented cars and then they repair them and they sell it back.
By SMD or something?
SMD, we buy cars.
Man.
There are so many salvage motor companies, so many of them. This is one of the ways to invest money as well. I did that with my uncle during the lockdown. We bought a VW, I think we bought it for 60,000. It was only the roof because the car somersaulted, so only the roof went in. The owner didn't want the car anymore. Bought it for 60K. We spent around 10,000 to fix it, sold the car for 120,000.
What? You guys
I'm
made
telling
100% profit.
You see, the car was still brand new. So this is what most West Africans are doing here in South Africa. Buying cars, fixing and selling it back. It is a slow process, but at least when you manage to sell the car, you will make a good profit on top of it.
And I mean, you fix it and actually you can go to We Buy Cars and sell the car to them.
Again, easy. And you know, to start a side hustle, you have to identify a need and then try to satisfy it. People want to eat magwinya, that's why people sell magwinya. So people need cars.
Yeah.
That's why you can also take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You just buy an accidented car. So when you do that also, you must just buy those ones that have a slight smash. Maybe the bumper, the light, and it's gonna be easy for you to fix it. Then you put it on the market. You see?
I never thought about that.
Yeah, many people are taking advantage of it. And there's another thing that I discovered. I'm still making research about it. I don't know if you know about it. They call it Amazon FBA.
Okay.
Yeah, many people are making money from it. They say it's actually a process whereby you are selling product on Amazon but not leaving your home. So you just have to find a promising product, maybe some earbuds. You just have to find a supplier like Alibaba. You find some earbud there, maybe they are selling them for 10 rand each. Then you have the supplier send the earbud to you. Then you're gonna send it to Amazon, and Amazon will sell them for you. Now the good thing is that it's hassle free. You don't have to worry about missing packages, delay in shipment, complaint. Amazon take care of all the fulfillment. Then you sell maybe, for example, for 20 rand there, they pay you the money into your account. This is what most people in America are doing today. Amazon FBA, and they make a lot of money.
It's kind of like drop shipping.
Yeah, you see,
know?
almost the same thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Okay, and my last and final question for you, King AB. What's your next move? What are you planning? Like, how are you gonna? You know, we spoke about the best version of yourself. What's your next move? How are you gonna break this fear? You know, I was watching Enter the Dragon. I forgot. It was Bruce Lee.
Oh, that one.
And it was that one. You know, where Bruce Lee is acting, but at
know
the same time, so the sensei, the master, says to this guy, "It's like, yo, you have to defeat your fears.
Yeah.
Because if you do not defeat your fears, it'll be generational fears.
No.
Then you, just like you are dealing right now with your dad's fears, your son will deal with that.
Wow.
So how are you? What's your next move? How are you gonna defeat that thing that's standing in your way of becoming the best version of yourself?
Yeah. So my next move, first of all, you see, my perception of life is that we are all here to fulfill our purpose. We came into this world for a reason. So I'm still in the pursuit of discovering my purpose and trying to fulfill it. So at the same time also, I know that whatever I need to break the grip of fear over my life is knowledge. So I try to instruct myself a lot, read books a lot, to acquire more knowledge. Knowledge is power. Some people say knowledge sets you free, but it's not knowledge. They say the truth sets you free, but it's the knowledge of the truth that sets you free, not the truth itself. So I'm still in the process of discovering my purpose and trying to fulfill it. And I'm also planning to go back to school. I want to do international trade. I want to take advantage of it. And because let's say, for example, in Ivory Coast, we are one of the top dog in the export of cocoa and coffee. And I can take advantage of that. You see, go and buy coffee there and then sell to people. I have a friend who does that, but he does it with cashew nuts. There are some suppliers of cashew nuts in Ivory Coast, and then he sells to China, Russia, international trade. It is something that I'm planning to do, and also to study project management, so that I will be able to monitor my own project and stuff. So this is the thing I'm planning.
Speaking about the cocoa part, I read there in a newspaper or something. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's information that I read where they said, I think it's Ghana or something, one of the biggest cocoa suppliers to Sweden or whatever, where they make chocolates or whatever. They were like, no, we're no longer going to give you guys the raw material. We're going to actually give you guys the processed material, and then you guys have to buy for that price. You get what I mean? Because the world comes to Africa and buys raw materials
at a cheaper rate.
You understand? You manufacture it and then sell it back to us, and then crazy prices. Yo, thank you so much, King Eddie. Do you want to say anything before we close the show to everybody that's watching?
Anything I can say, like I told you before, I said that God has given us, one of the greatest gifts God has given us is the freedom of the will. You are able to decide independently of any outside influence. And by God giving you this gift, He has made you the creator of your own reality. So the power is in your hand. 90% of the problem we have in our life is the product of our own making. It came as a result of the poor decision we make in the past. So every day, every minute, every hour, every day that passes by is an ability for you to create your future. You create your future based on the decision that you take in the present. So no matter the situation that you are going through right now, no matter the circumstance of life, the power is in your hand. You can reverse it by taking concrete action. That's going to yield the result in the future. I was talking about the compound effect. Small and smart choices plus time plus consistency equal radical change. So whatever you want to be in life, try to find out what are the choices that I have to make. Try to complete that consistently, and over time, it's going to give you the result that you want. That's what I want to say.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was King AB. He gave us so much knowledge and so much gems, and I hope you took away something from today. And like we always say here on the show, Mind, Body, and Hustle, we always say a smart person learns from their own mistakes, and a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. Today was a huge lesson, and I hope you took something away. And till we meet again, thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe, like the video, and the next one will be as nice as this one has been today, and you'll learn even more as we go along. And like I said, I'm not going to bring you guys guests that are going to just talk about like things that are far from us. It's going to be real people talking about real life issues, talking about real life problems, and giving you guys real life solutions. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a great day.
That's it. Yeah.